Hello, my crafty friends. How are you today? Just getting a drink before we get started here. Hope everybody's doing well, and I hope that if you are in these lines of storms that are coming through, that everybody stays safe. We're expecting some freezing rain and sleet tonight, so I'm hoping that the weather isn't too bad because I have mail that needs to go out tomorrow. So before we get started, um, I'm just gonna let you know, hey, just let you know that tonight's projects you could use for anniversary, you can use for Valentine's Day. It's suitable for a man or a woman, and we're using lots of different products. I'm using the Bouquet of Love Hybrid Embossing Folder. I'm using the Sentiment from Always in My Heart. I'm using the Sentiment from the Love and Happiness stamp set. This is in the mini catalog. I'm using the Sweetheart dies. I'm using the Bouquet of Love dies. And I'm using the Floral Heart dies. So lots of different products tonight. And also, just so everyone knows, these little swirls I used from the Calming Camellia set. It's right here. Now, this set is a host stamp set. So if you were to host a party, this set would be available to you for purchase. The reason I decided to use this was I have right now have an online party going on, and I created a card because this is what the host actually wants. She held the party just for this stamp set, so I had created this card with the stamp set, and I created a matching envelope. And this is an evening evergreen and soft succulent with a bit of gold. And the ink is the evening evergreen. So if you wanted to host a party, thank you, thank you. If you wanted to host a party and you wanted this stamp set, just get in touch with me. I'd love to do it online with you. But you can also use this swirl from the Sentimental Swirls, and this is in the mini catalog that is out right now. So it's just another option, and you can see what the swirls look like on a card, and it's a little bigger and a little bit more detailed. Okay, so let's get started. Gonna put my sleeves up. I'm going to keep this one down so you don't hear my bracelet. And I think what we'll do is we'll start with this card here. And let me just pull it out. So we have a base that is 8.5 by 5.5, and it is scored at 4.25. Now, ladies, know that if you have a long list of craft goodies that you would like to purchase, now would be the time to join, because for $99, you'll get $125 worth of product and 2 additional stamp sets of your choice. Now, you don't have to run it as a business. You could use your Stampin' Up as a way to save money on your purchases whenever you make a purchase. And I would love to have you on my team. So we have Very Vanilla, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And you don't have to, hey Karen, thank you. Yes, I did do. Oh, how awesome, Karen. That's exciting. I'm so happy for you. How is the weather by you, by the way? We watch Ryan Hall, y'all, on YouTube, and he does the weather, the United States weather. So we were watching right before I came in. But it looks nasty out there. All right, so very vanilla, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. No, you don't have to keep up with all the measurements. I'll have a PDF in the group tomorrow. Okay, then I have a layer of gold, and the gold is 5 1/4 by 4. And instead of wasting my whole sheet, because it's going to be covered by another layer of very vanilla, I need hearts for the front of the card, so I cut them out of the center of my layer. No one but us will know, okay? And that's going to be laid down. This actually I'm going to pop up. So let's get this very vanilla down first. And I am going to use glue. Let me just make sure I have the right one. I have so many different glues open. So let's just adhere this very vanilla to the front of the card. Hopefully we can get through tonight without any disasters or me forgetting something. We had a crazy day again today. I actually just wolfed down dinner because we had to make a run to the emergency room. It seems to be an ongoing theme in our house lately. So it'll just bring on, they think my husband, not too bad, 9 degrees and sunny. Oh my goodness. Hello, Facebook user. So it appears that my husband may have passed a kidney stone. We're not sure, but he is urinating blood. So we'll have a urology appointment coming up now. So we shall see. So here is the stamp from the Common Camellia, and I'm using Memento, and all I'm going to do is ink this up, and I am just going to stamp it on the front of the card. I'm going to do one there. I'm going to do one this way, and then I'm going to do one, let's do it right up here, just like that. And see what I did? So let's turn this baby over and we'll do it again. I have a habit, a very bad habit of rocking my block. Instead of going straight down, I rock it for some reason. It's just a habit I've gotten myself into. So I have to be very careful. Okay, let's do this one again. And there we go. So now we have our swirls on. So give me 1 second. You'll notice this, the front of this card. I ran it through the cut and emboss machine. Hi, Dawn. How are you, honey? Thank you. I actually have to, I'm looking at the shared. I will combine last week's video and the shares from this week. So if you shared last week, I'll put your name in twice. And let's see what we'll give away this week. Let's give away some awesome otters. So give me a second to run this through with the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. Do it really quick here. Oops. Okay. So it just changes the look a little bit with the embossed layer, so it's not so plain. Okay. So now let's adhere this to our gold. And if you're just joining, I cut out all the hearts that I wanted from the gold layer, so I wouldn't waste the whole inside of this layer. We're going to add this to it, and I'm using glue, so I have a second to move it around. Just like that. Now we're going to take this and we're going to pop it up onto the front of this card. Let me pull out some dimensionals. We're just going to add some dimensionals to the back. So like I said, we just got home, gosh, not that long ago. Thankfully, the emergency room wasn't too bad. We ended up going to the Veterans Administration instead of our local hospital. And I guess we were there for a few hours. I couldn't go in, so I waited in the car. And my husband doesn't seem to remember anything they tell him, other than he probably passed a kidney stone, and that's all I know. So now I'll have to wait until we get the urology appointment. All right, let me just make sure I center this. Ah, now you see why I use glue. All right, that looks good. Okay, so there is the start of our card. Now I cut out a heart in, let me just make sure that's the one I want though. Yes. Is it? No, it's this one. This is the sparkly paper that we had for Halloween. Yeah, that's true, too. So I have had extra, so I decided to use the glittered black paper. And then I have all my little hearts. And I used 3 of the little hearts. And then I used 3 of the black glitter paper hearts. And then I have the one big one and one of the small ones. Now the extras, I actually put on the inside of the card. And then the smaller ones I used for the front of the envelope. And then on the back, what I did was I adhered half of the heart to the flap so it'll look like it is a seal. So what I would do is lick the envelope, add some glue, and close it so that stays down and doesn't get ripped off in the mail. So we have these, and we have this, and then we have these for the envelope. See if I have them all. I'm missing one. Let's see. Make sure it's not inside. That's okay. Okay, so we're going to ink up our stamp pad, and I'm using Versamark this time. And again, I am using the sentiment. Let's see which one I'm using. You are always in my heart. So I am going to pull out my embossing powder. I'm going to move my card. Let's get a scrap piece of paper so we don't get embossing powder all over. And we're going to ink this up and emboss our sentiment in gold. I love being able to see through the stamp, especially on sentiments. Okay, so let's get that stamped. And now I didn't do it on this piece. But I don't have one of those embossing buddies, those little pouches with the powder in it. And that helps getting a nice fresh embossing. But I actually use a dryer sheet, and I didn't do it this time. But I did do it on the whole piece of paper when I was making the card this afternoon. Hello, Kathy. How are you? All right, so that looks pretty good. You want to just take a look at it and make sure that all the embossing is shiny. So let's close this up, and we'll close up the ink. Let's pull in our card, and we're going to take this giant heart, and I'm actually going to, let's get my little pokey tool. We're going to glue one of the little gold hearts right here on the bottom, just like that. And we're just going to give that a few seconds to dry. And then I am going to pull in some little dimensionals, and I actually cut the sides. And we're going to add our little hearts. Now you want to make sure that when you add the dimensional, and that one's going to be a little too big. So let me just cut these down a little bit. I don't want them showing through, because we'll be able to, if it was a white background, I wouldn't worry as much, but where it is, where it is the very vanilla, the white will really stick out. So let's get this little one, and we're going to put it right about here. And this one should be dry, so let's pop this up before I lose some space and forget and not able to put this heart where I want it. Oh, that's a good idea. I grabbed that dryer sheet, and it's just so easy. All right, so we're going to lay this down right there. And then I'm going to actually take this little heart that has the stitching and add some glue, and we're going to tuck it up under this heart, making sure it's straight, just like that. Then let's grab our sparkly heart, and we're going to add some glue, and we're going to add this right here at the bottom. And then we're going to grab the little gold heart, and like I said, I cut all of these gold pieces out of that layer. We're going to grab some larger dimensionals. I'm only going to use one, and we'll put that right here. We have all our little hearts here. We're going to take one of our sparkly ones and put it there. So let's pick that up and glue that down. And then we're going to grab another dimensional. And I'm just going to, again, I'm going to just cut one off, so I make sure that it fits behind this heart. And it's so tiny. That looks good. And we're going to take this one. Let me just stick it on this little pokey tool. And we're going to add it right here to this swirl. We're going to add a gold one up here. So like I said, we're waiting. Supposedly we're getting ice. I'm not sure. It's raining pretty good out there tonight. So we shall see. And again, I hope it doesn't. I have mail going out. Actually, I have mail for you, Karen. Ah, yes. Just south of me in Iowa. And we're going to add this one here. Yep, I have mail going out to you, Karen. I have mail going out to Margaret. So, okay. So now that we have the front of our card, I'm going to use these little gold embellishments, and I'm just going to stick one there. Now the gold is a little off on these, but at least they're gold. I could have used pearls. And then that is the front of our card. And like I said, I have the smaller ones and then the larger one in the back. So I'm just going to stick this with the envelope. Let's pull in the inside. And again, you don't have to worry about the measurements, but I'll have your PDF. It's 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 and 5 1/4 by 4. And I actually we're going to just lay this down. I saw, Emma, I guess it was you that you said everybody uses snail. Yes, snail is the preferred way of creating the cards because it does hold really well. But my problem is when I'm making my cards, believe it or not, for my videos, I have more of a tendency to not get anything straight. And the glue during the video allows me to move things around so much easier using glue. And it's just more convenient. Now, when I do cards by myself, when I'm creating, I do use it. It's, like I said, it's sitting right here. So I do use it, just not during my videos unless, I'm confident that my hands aren't shaking or that I've had a good day and things go well. So here is card number 1. Like I said, you can use it for Valentine's Day or you could use it for an anniversary. Now, if you would like these make and takes of the cards tonight, all you have to do is place a $35 order and you must use this host code. And I'll send these make and takes for you in the mail. Tombow, yes. Yep. Oh, the snail is this. They changed it to stamp and seal. Years ago, last year or the year before, they used to call it snail. And then when they changed the design and they changed everything about it, they changed the name to stamp and seal. So, Okay, so now card number 2. And just so I can show you, it's a very vanilla envelope. And I ended up putting 3 little hearts on the back of the envelope. Now, with this card, I actually used the Bouquet of Love embossing folder, and I used the Floral Hearts dies. And that's this one in the background here. Okay, then I used the gold twine, and the sentiment is from the Love and Happiness stamp set that's in the new mini catalog. Now for this one though, I did something a little different. I do have the 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4.25. This one we're going to do landscape. Then I have a layer of the very vanilla, and I think this one is 5.25 by 4. I didn't put just want to make sure. Yep. So this is my first layer, and we're going to adhere this down. And like I said, this is the very vanilla. So it's about 1/4 of an inch. It's not 1/8 of an inch this time. Just scoot that up a little bit. And that's my first layer. Then I took a piece of basic black, and this should be 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And I ran it through with that embossing folder. And as you can see, the hybrid, I think I showed you on the card I did the other day. If I was to put the die inside the embossing folder, it would cut out this center. But I didn't need to do that. We're going to cover it up and hide it so you don't even know it's there. But what I actually did, it wasn't last year, it was the year before. If you remember the Delicata Gold Glitz stamp pad. And I kept it. So what I did was, after I embossed, I took my ink pad and ran it, and I'm going to just move this down a little, ran it over the top of this embossing so I could get a gold, glimmer onto the front of this card. Now you could actually do this, with white. I just want to get some nice gold on the front of this card, just like this. Now Stampin' Up! Does not have the gold anymore. If you were lucky enough to get it when they did have it, you can always, other companies actually do have the gold. So I just ran that over all the embossed areas. So now you can see that it looks like it was gold embossed. Okay? Yeah, this is really pretty, this embossing folder. So now that we have that, I am going to take the heart, the floral heart, and we're actually going to pop this up onto the front of the card. And I'm going to use these little pieces that I actually cut, because there's not very many areas that I can put dimensionals on this one. And where we're going black on black, they will definitely be seen if we don't hide them. So I just cut little pieces as to not waste any part of our dimensionals. You should have no foam left on your sheets when you're crafting. The edges are just too valuable. Okay, so now I'm just going to line this up. They don't match completely, so I'm just going to line it up with this heart the best I can. Just like that. I'm going to move that out of the way. Now I used the heart from, which one was that? This is the heart from, I'm trying to look here, the Bouquet of Loves dies that goes with the embossing folder. So this is the heart die that you would use to put inside the embossing folder. And I am actually going to stamp it with the Happy Anniversary, My Love. And I'm going to use Memento. And as you can see, my block is filthy. But I did use the sticker that comes in the stamp. Thank you, Kathy. I usually don't put the stickers on, but for the sentiment, I try to add it most of the times because this way I can see the sentiment and I can get an idea if I'm actually putting it down and stamping it straight. Instead of using my block with the lines on it, this sometimes is much easier. So we're just going to eyeball this, making sure that it's on there straight, and give it a good stamp. Let's close that up. I'm going to pull in the stamp pad again, and I'm actually going to just go around the heart with the gold. Now, if you didn't want to just do it from the stamp pad, you could use your blending brushes. As I get to the center of these two round pieces, I'm actually going to grab a piece of my sponge and just get in there and add some color to that. There's so much white on this piece that I just wanted to add a little something to the edges to make it stand out a little bit. Okay, so there's our heart. Now, before we put that down, I'm just going to grab this piece again, and I'm going to grab my gold twine, and I'm just going to cut a piece. I'm going to feed it through. I should have done this before. See, that's what I mean. I forget. I'm just going to feed this through. But when we are card making, there's never any mistakes, right? So we're just going to feed that through, and you know me, I don't like tying my ribbon and twine because I usually don't get a good bow when I do it. So I'm just going to adhere this with a glue dot. Now, before I put down the other side, I'm just going to make sure I have it on here straight. Just like this. And then put my glue dot down and tuck this around. Now, if you're worried that the glue dot is not going to hold, just pull that down a smidge. We just grab some tape and just add a piece of tape so you know that it's being held in place really well. And then let's add our glue and let's get this on the front of the card. Make sure I have it on the right way. Okay, so there is the front. Now we're going to grab this happy anniversary and we're going to pop this up also. We want it the same, excuse me, we want it the same layer or popped up the same as our heart, the floral heart in the background. And it, again, it's not going to fit in this space. So you want to just finagle it a little bit so you make sure you are covering that heart in the frame, just like that. Then we're going to pull our twine back in. And I'm trying to think how I did this before. I don't remember how I tied this ribbon. I think I did it. Isn't that terrible? I can't remember how I tied it. That's been my day. What can I tell you? All right, we're just going to tie a quick bow because my brain just went blank. A senior moment, I guess they call that. How crazy is that? All right, no worries. So let's grab a glue dot. It's like, has it been that long since I've created a bow? I just did it this afternoon. So this one's going to have a single tied bow. Just like I said, I have no idea how I did that bow. Just like that. And then we're going to pull in these little gold embellishments again. And we're just going to add some to the front of the card. I wanted to add a few, 2 to this heart. Again, just trying to fill in and change the color of the white, very vanilla. I actually could have run it through with an embossing folder, but I decided to leave it plain. And then I'm just going to add a couple little embellishments to the floral die cut. And then call the front of the card done. Now for the inside of the card, we have 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 and 5 1/4 by 4. And this time I cut out the hearts that are in a row. And I'm just going to grab my glue and I'm going to put dots of glue and trying not to put too much so it smears or leaks out, but I just want to make sure I hit different areas. And we're going to lay this down right on the bottom. Layer these together. Scooch that down. See, even the glue's not cooperating tonight. Okay, and then put this on the inside of the card. And there is card number 2. Just quick and easy. Again, I'm going to save my little hearts. I know what. I also, just to do something a little different, These hearts that are in a row, here are the inserts. These little hearts are the ones that came out from the center. And I'm just going to put 2 little dots of glue and I'm going to add them right here. We never think about the flap of the card, do we? So I figured I'd add something a little different to the flap. And then, like I said, I'm going to save them here. But I also put 3 of the hearts on the flap of the envelope. And there is card number 2. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it shouldn't be here, Karen, because I'm hardlined. I'm not using Wi-Fi anymore. Okay, so project number 3. Now, I was going to go out to buy this hand sanitizer that would fit in here, but I never got there. We were in the ER instead. So know that this little box, and I have this velcroed shut, is for a little hand sanitizer. Okay, that's what its purpose is. So we have our basic black, and it's 2 by 11, and it is scored at 1/2, 1.5, 3.5, 4.5, 7.5, and 8.5. Okay, now let's fold and burnish all our score lines just like this, and one more. Now for this little 1/2 inch section, we're actually going to grab some tear and tape, and we're going to add tear and tape to this section. And you want to get it as close as to that score line as you can. And we're just going to cut that off. Now, after you add your tear and tape, this piece right here, we're going to cut or punch a 3/4 inch circle. Now, what I like to do is punch out a circle. Just going to add a little bit of glue and position it on the piece that I want to cut the circle. This way you get the contrast of the black and the white. You can eyeball if it's in the center. And then when you get it all centered and you have your little piece there, all you have to do is line up your punch and punch it out. And then you're right in the center of your piece and it's all cut out. Okay? Now, I actually used the glitter paper again for my layer, and what the heck, then I used some designer series paper, and I'm just trying to think. I forgot to grab the name of this paper, and I don't think I have it right here. If anybody knows off the top of their head, let me just see if this is it. The Simply Elegant Designer Series paper, and it's still available. And I picked it because of the very vanilla, the gold, and the black. So the way this is going to be our flap. So we're going to add our 2 layers. Now this piece is 1 7/8 by 2 3/8, and this is 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. And we're just going to layer these together, making sure it is on there straight. And then we're going to adhere this right here to the flap. Now this would be perfect for a gentleman because of the black. Yep, or a mini lotion, most definitely. Like I said, I was on my way out. I was on my way to the post office. I was on my way to the store. I never got there. So this one is 1 7/8 by 1 7/8, and then this one is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to layer these together. Oops. Here's where the little top of the lotion would come out, and this is going to be the front. So we're going to add some glue and adhere this to this front. Just like that. Now to close it, I'm going to use some Velcro circles, and I'm going to cut it in half because these circles are so big. And this way I can take it and add it right onto the flap, right at the edge there. Just like that. And you can line this up and set it down so it opens. So let me just show you how I did that. This piece, we can actually do it right now. Take off our paper. And the best way to try to figure this out, here's score line 1, 2, 3. Fold it, turn this over, hold it nice and straight, line it up, and that is where you would put it down. So when this opens, it's nice and squared. Then the same thing, you would push this down, fold it on this back seam, and lay it down, and then you'll have your Velcro, and it'll be a nice square box. Okay, so for the front, I'm just going to lay this down here for a second because we're going to grab our gold twine again. I don't have to tie a bow, so no worries there. We are just going to twirl this around my fingers, just like that. We are going to grab our seal, and we're going to add some seal to the front, and we're going to just give this a twist. So I'm going to hold it this way. So here is my little circles. All I'm going to do is twist it and try to center it on the front. We can pull our little loops. We can even tuck this one down. And then just pull our loops on the bottom, just so you can separate them a little so they're not all bunched up, just like that. It looks like a mess, but no worries. We're going to take a plain black heart, and we're going to load it up with some glue, and we're going to stick it right here in the center. And we're just going to hold that down for a minute. And you can see it hides all that craziness underneath. Then I have a little sparkly heart. Let's add a dimensional to that. And we're going to layer this down. And we could have done this before creating the box. Just layer that down. And then we're going to put our little gold hearts. So I'm going to put a dot and a dot. Use my picky tool and lay it down right there on the front. And there is our little lotion or sanitizer box. Quick and easy little gift box. And then here are tonight's cards. Just in time for either Valentine's Day or someone's anniversary. So like I said, place an order before Sunday night of $35. You must use this host code, and I will send you these make and takes in the mail. Oh, Liara fell asleep. Ah, thank you, Elle. Yes, we love the hearts too. So thank you everybody for joining. I'm glad you were able to make it. Please know that I'll be thinking of everybody in the bad weather, and stay safe if you have to go out. I'm hoping for good weather here. So I will have the PDF in our room tomorrow, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great night. Bye-bye.